Davis Filfred stands among other leaders to defend Bears Ears National Monument. Davis Filfred is a politician for the Navajo Nation Council in the Utah Navajo section. Davis is a United States Marine Corps veteran. After serving his country, he returned to the reservation where he joined the tribal police force and later began his life in politics by becoming vice president of the Aneth chapter. Filfred has been in his position as Navajo Nation Council delegate since winning their tribal election in 2006. His position with the Navajo Nation has shown his dedication to the preservation and protection of the Bears Ears National Monument. Filfred became involved in the issue of shrinking national monuments when talks about their reduction broke out after President Trump won the presidential election. Just a month before Obama left office, he had declared that 1.35 million acres in the Bears Ears region were to be designated as a national monument. Trump now wanted to take that back. Davis, along with other Native American leaders, spoke out on their dislike for the idea of Trump going back and shrinking it. The designation of Bears Ears National Monument was a celebratory moment where our voices were finally heard and our cultural and spiritual heritage was respected, said Davis Filfred. Our tribes stand together and are willing to go into battle in terms of litigation, and we are here to fight for our monument. Tribal leaders, including Davis Filfred, stuck together to fight back against the proposed shrinkage. Shrinking the national monuments would leave an unbelievable number of sacred sites to be left unprotected. In an interview by USC Annenberg Media, Ralph Barrio, who is an archaeologist specializing in the region of Bears Ears, says, "The region is unique in terms of its cultural and archaeological significance. The vast number of archaeological sites have yielded artifacts that help scientists like myself better understand prehistoric Americans' culture, environment, and history." After learning that President Trump decided to go forward with the reduction of the national monuments, Davis Filfred has continued his support behind fighting this decision. Filfred represents several Navajo communities in the state of Utah and has been a strong and outspoken advocate for Bears Ears. He stated in an interview given by the Navajo Nation Council, "Navajo people have advocated for protection of the Bears Ears for decades and continue to use and value the land for their livelihoods and cultural practices. This monument represents part of our history and our future. Navajo Nation has been consistent in our message. We support the 1.35 million acre monument designation." President Trump did not seek out any input from the Navajo Nation, nor from any other tribes who worked toward the designation of the national monument. Filfred also stated in the same interview that Bears Ears has protected Navajo people in the past, and now we must protect it. Navajo Nation will continue to work with the Hopi, Zuni, Ute Indian, and Ute Mountain Ute tribes to fight for our ancestral lands and permanently protect this landscape. The decision disrespects Native Americans across the country by acting against the Antiquities Act and has been used countless times since 1906 to protect Native American heritage. Navajo Nation will be filing a legal challenge to President Trump's decision, and we will not back down. The Antiquities Act gives the President the authority to, by presidential proclamation, create national monuments from federal lands to protect significant natural, cultural, or scientific features. It is clear that Davis Filfred and the coalition of tribes are going to continue to fight President Trump's decision to shrink the Bears Ears National Monument. He and many others continue to advocate for the national monument. In a recent awards ceremony, Davis was presented with a conservation award. At the ceremony, Senator Bennett from Colorado, who presented the award, said, "I have the privilege of introducing our two honorees this evening, Bears Ears Intertribal Coalition, Davis Filfred, and Utah Diné Bikéyah, Willie Griaeus. We do not only recognize their contributions to conservation, but celebrate them as rebels for a cause." That designation feels especially fitting this year, because now, more than ever, is a time to rebel.